Okay, so I'm going to do, on this board, I'm going to do a balloon pour. I'll explain what these are in a minute. I'm working on a Pebeo canvas board. This one is 30 by 30 and it's nice and rigid, which is what I need. And the paints I'm going to use are the Pebeo Pouring Experiences paint. I'm going to use a few different colours. This one is the blue. I'm going to use the turquoise. I shall also use some of this magenta, deep magenta. Some gold, which has a lovely little shimmer on it. Some white, which I'm going to mix with some silicone oil. I'll show you that first. And probably a bit of, this is a metallic violet, and maybe a touch of black. The black is very strong, so I'm not sure about that at the minute, so we'll just have a see. So I'm going to start off with my white. I just want to have something with a little bit of silicone in it, so I'm putting some of my Pouring Experiences white in there, and a couple, 3 drips of my silicone oil. So this is the silicone oil that they do. And then I'm going to give it a nice little stir. I want that through the silicone, through the white. Just put that to one side for a minute. The other thing I have here is I have 3 balloons. I've already made a mess. I've got 3 balloons. The only reason I've got 3 is I want 3 different sizes. So I've got a bigger one, a medium one and a little one, so I've just blown them up to 3 different sizes. So put those to the side for a moment, and I'm going to start by brushing some colour out actually. Put this, not a lot left in there, but that's fine. I don't need this to be a thick pouring layer, this can just be a brushed out layer. So I'm just brushing this out with a brush onto the canvas board, and because it's a pouring paint, it was actually leaving it a little bit more streaky than I wanted. So I loved the contrast of these 2 blues together, but I wasn't entirely happy with it. So I tried flattening it out with a palette knife and just spreading it around as much as I could to flatten it. But it wasn't really doing what I wanted it to do. So I kind of continued with this and then started rethinking whilst I was doing it. And I actually decided that I wanted a bit more contrast between the 2 colours as well. So I started off adding a little bit more of the turquoise because I had some of the turquoise handy. It is a very, very pretty colour. And that's a much better coverage, so I did end up having to put a little more on than I intended. And then I came in, and I wasn't sure about the black to start off with, but I decided that if I mixed it in with that blue, it would show through a little bit, so it'd look a little transparent, give it a bit more depth, but it would give you a much better, or give me a much better contrast with that beautiful turquoise. So that's where I'm at, and I like the fact that there's little bits of that blue showing through, and that was the intention. So the next stage is to start adding the colours for the balloon smash. So the colours I showed you at the beginning, the metallics, the golds, I'm just putting these in dots along the border between my 2 colours. And I'm layering them up, but not all in the same order, so I'm creating different patterns, not forgetting to add some of my white that's got the silicone oil in it, and this will create more cells, I hope, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, so that's the point of it all really, it's the playtime, isn't it? Coming back in with a bit more of that gold. I want these to contrast quite nicely with my backgrounds. This metallic purple. Okay, so I've got the balloon. I've got my balloon, and I'm just going to smash the balloon down onto the puddles of colour, and when you lift it up you get this amazing floral sort of pattern, and it picks paint up onto the balloon, so I'm going to smash that back down next to where I was to give me additional flowers. I think this is a really exciting technique. I think it's really good fun. Just picking this up and plopping it down into the paint, and it gives you these amazing effects. So I've put that one to one side, and I'm going to pick up a different size balloon. So I've got the smaller one here. It's just different amounts of air pressure in there give you slightly different effects, so it's just worth trying with lots of different ones. Actually, I think I found that the smaller balloon was the most controllable and the one that I enjoyed using most. But you've got to try them all. I'm adding a little bit more of my white into this. There we go, big squish. It's those decisions, isn't it? Where do you put that down? Just using some of the colour that is left on the balloon just to create a couple of ghost flowers. And you can get these beautiful patterns on the balloons themselves, so I'm going to dry these and see if they work as a skin. Just going to add some beads in. Quite like that. It'll be interesting to see how the balloons dry as well. I'll give you a close-up once it's all dry. In the end, I loved the painting. I have covered it in a resin and put it in this white drop frame, and I think it reminds me of the edge of a coral reef, so it's called On the Edge. Thank you for watching me.